So hi. Today the main topic is really how do we how we like design the chatbot in web development. By the way, this is really how our service looks like in the mobile, and we're just gonna launch this service on this August 4. So the there's only 3 weeks, 2 weeks left, so there's no time for study every day. I'm implementing this kind of chatbot feature, but it's really hard to like design chatbot because since we have really no time, we don't have to like spend time for like fixing API that client developer wants. So even though the API interface is not really great, we don't have much time for that. So the I have much resource that in compared to our server engineer. So I just say we're just gonna do it and I'm just gonna explain the thing what I learned here while implementing those kind of things. The servers the most of chat's web service, like even the ChatGPT, they use a server-side event to implement chatbot. The SSE is basically the real time and SSE. The basic difference is that in real time you open the WebSocket and you always sense the chunk of the message every single time. It's real time, but the SS is basically is event based real time. If there's event triggers, there's like real time to event done. But if there's no event triggers, there's no real time text messages, and so we don't really have to put like a WebSocket on this chatbot. So we just use SSE. But problem of the SS is that we use get rather than we have to use get rather than post. But my server engineer gave me post method, so there's no kind of like built-in library for the post. So I was like, oof, that's kind of hard, but I can just do it because there was a library called hold on, man. There's a library called the Microsoft Fetch Event Source. So they somehow abstract this kind of library and made engineers to use SSC event but on the post. So the response is gonna be the real time. So I abstract in this level, not this part. So what I did was this is our abstract and API calls. This is streaming. This is the main stream. I'm just gonna dream more. But this is like how our code looks like. So streaming functions, we use fetch event source using from the Microsoft Fetch Event Source. We get the method post, and we intercept headers on the because when we trying to make some kind of this kind of class using constructor, we have to get the tokens of here. So since we inject the tokens of the fetch event source, and of course we have to include the event stream. And next, if you look at the abstraction code, the stream TS is basically the passing the callbacks that if there's success or failed or it is streaming. If it's streaming, sends the message data, because the message data is basically event based streaming data. So when we get data, we have to put some kind of callback that like integrate with the React state, because React state is kind of, it's just a state. If there's something changes on other thing, so other dependency those who have this state changes frequent, like instantly. So I passed the I passed the callback logic that requires to read for the success fail streaming. Example, I have to set the state if it is streaming. So I pass down the callback function, which is if it's streaming, I set state as a stream status streaming. So based on that, we can just put if statement to visualize some kind of UI if it is streaming. So this kind of logic. So after that, this is not already done. If we get the text chunks, we enqueue on the text chunk queue. After that, we give response. We give the text chunk queue. So text chunk queue is just the chunks, the text chunks of the streaming or this real time text. After we make some kind of use streaming query, we also make some kind of abstraction layer that you use AI chatbot. So I can just pass down API path here, and I can just use this as a reusable. I can just reuse it like this. So after we receive test chunk queue, we can put as a send message. We can just hoist this kind of test chunk queue here, and we use async generator that seems like real-time streaming. Like it just seems like just a printing every time. So if user clicks send message, it will get the body data for the post, and after that, if there's something changed on the test chunk and this streaming, we're gonna be work, and the result is gonna be printed as printed for the UI. And so those kind of thing is really kind of abstract module, and I can just reuse it as this part, because this is also for the chatbot. So we can just make this kind of logic, put some kind of API parameters, and I can just put the body rather than passing here. So like this, and I can just join this kind of array to visualize the text of here. This is how I used use chatbot input, and I can just pass down the callback function for the triggers the button click, and I can just pass down easy loading and visual, which is a string of the message, the answer of the message. And but this is not already implemented. I almost implemented, but there's something wrong with the issue. Maybe just kind of state or whatever thing. And also we have to integrate my strategy is, since there's gonna be like performance issue on the mobile, we have to optimize it. I'm gonna use the React virtualize to optimize this kind of lists. And also when message is gonna be streamed, and you have to put the message stream on this chatbot UI. Since the message stream requires the React state, so every this kind of component in re-renders, and not only the state of it, this DOM is gonna every time calculate it and change the render streaming test happens. So rather than like making some kind of latency on the main thread of our website, I'm gonna use the iframe when there's a chatbot answer streaming. If there's chatbot answer streaming, I make iframe, but I put it in like here, that it just seems like the AI message, AI response message, but under the hood, just the iframe rather than div. The reason why I'm just gonna use the iframe is because if I use iframe, the browser in the Chrome, if we use iframe, and it renders the different process. So if I in this website, this is one render process, but if I put there's the one iframe, there's gonna be different render process. So those kind of things is really isolated. I just have to pass the data, the message data on this part, so we don't have to think about the stutters on the website, because if there's like garbage collector, there's gonna be issue, and if there's like multiple rendering issue, there's gonna be more latency, more stutters, and more flickering. So usually we're just gonna leave our web page, so we're just gonna put some kind of iframe to reduce those kind of things. So I think this is it. So have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye.